guys, if you'd like to see how I made these lovely fried dumplings, how I got this far, um, watch till the end. Okay guys, in this video, I'm gonna be showing you how I make Jamaica's fluffy fried dumpling. A subscriber of mine, she reached out to me and she wanted me to show her how to make it, and I was happy to do so. Okay guys, so please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, okay? And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe and share the video with your friends. And before we get into the video, happy 2021 when it guys, for the fried dumpling you will need your flour, some cold water, salt, baking powder, very important, your oil, and butter, which is optional. Normally when I'm making fried dumpling, guys, I don't really add extra butter to it, but I'll show you that where the butter makes it a bit softer. You don't have to. As I said, it's optional. And normally when I'm making fried dumpling, I don't measure, but just to guide you a bit, I will do some measuring here. And then you're gonna sieve your flour, you know, so that when you're kneading your dough, you will have a better outcome. So I'm just measuring here, and as I said, I don't measure. This is a half cup, and usually when you're measuring, you level off, you know guys, but it's okay. Like, I'm not gonna level off, but you can level off just to get the exact cup, half cup, as well as you could just judge it. Yeah, so I'll be sieving the flour here. That's a half cup. Half more cup, that's 1 cup of flour. I'm just trying to see how much fried dumpling I want to make, guys. I have measured here 2.5 cups. So that is 2 cups of flour I have sieved. So, you know, you're making your fried dumpling. You don't really have to measure, but because, you know, I'm using the 2.5 cup, I'm kind of gonna be guiding you a bit. Yeah, so you sieve your flour. I think I'm gonna be using everything here. So that was 2.5 cup of flour, and I have a little bit here left. Okay, I think I'll use everything I have here. So that's 3 cups of flour, I think. 3 cups of flour. And salt, guys, as I said, I don't normally measure, but you know, salt is a thing. I don't use a lot of salt. Okay, so this is 1/4 teaspoon of salt for that amount of flour. Because it's best. I don't like when my food is salty, especially fried dumpling. It's not enjoyable when it's salty. So yeah, it's very important. Salt, and most important of all is the baking powder, because the baking powder makes your, and this is the brand I'm using, the Fleischmann's. The baking powder makes it, you know, makes your fried dumpling soft. Well, baking powder is used in most pastry. And yeah, that's a teaspoon of baking powder. And as I said, normally I don't measure. Okay, I would just be putting baking powder like all over. So like, yeah, I'm not even leveling it off. That's a teaspoon. That's 2 teaspoons. Yeah, 3 heaped teaspoon full of baking powder is good. You could use 2 or 3. And Jamaicans, guys, they put butter, but normally this is what I do. I just put the baking powder and the most of the time the baking powder and the salt, right? But Jamaicans like to add butter, and they say it makes the your dumpling, your fried dumpling comes out softer. But my fried dumpling comes out soft anyway. But so this is a teaspoon of butter, and as I said, the butter is optional. You do not have to put butter, but I'm just putting the butter to show you that there are other ways to do it. I just want to say, guys, happy 2021 when it comes, and all the best for the new year. So I just wash my hands there, guys, because once your hand is gonna be touching the flour and then doing the kneading, you know, you need to have clean hands. The fact that I was touching other things, so I wash my hands, and yeah, I put that much butter, and you just you know, crumble it in. And if you want, you could add another teaspoon of butter or two more. But as I said, I don't really add. I don't normally. I don't go that route where, you know, I add the butter, and my dumpling comes out soft the same way. Yeah. So I repeat, you could put between 1 and 3 teaspoon of butter if you wish to. And sometimes it's good to have a little, you know, flour left just in case your dough is too soft. So we're gonna be kneading now. And this is a half cup of water. I think I might need water, more water. I ran the cold water from the pipe as well as ice water from the fridge. Would be better, but yeah. And then, guys, whenever needing flour, you could make a well, right? A well here in the center, and pour your water. This half cup here. I think I might need more, so that's, yeah, you put that much, and then wherever there's water, you're gonna put the flour. So as you can see, I need more. I'm gonna put all of this. So the entire half cup cold water. And for the fried dumpling, guys, you don't want your dough to be too hard, right? You want it to be somewhat soft, not too sticky, somewhat soft. So let me get more water because the half cup is done. So I'm going to put half cup more. Get some more cold water, half a cup more. I have half a cup more water, and I may use the entire half cup again. So yeah, and that's what you're doing, kneading your flour. So that's a cup, right? That is a cup. I'm gonna get more water. So what I'm trying to teach you here, guys, you add your water slowly, right? Add your water slowly, so you don't spoil the dough. You don't want it to get too soft. Yeah. So you see that part is soft. You don't put no any more water there. You just pour a little bit of water where the flour is. If you're making cooked dumpling, then you would not be putting any more water at this point, because you're going to be cooking it so that you want your dough to be harder. But because we're making a fried dumpling, the dough needs to be a bit soft. Yeah. And I think I'm good here. I'm feeling the texture here, like, you know, it's soft all over, so I don't want to put more. It's dry here, and by the time you knead your dough in, then it will be perfect. So that was like a cup and a half, and we have just a little bit left from the last half cup. So you leave back 1/3 in the last half cup, right, of water. Leave back 1/3 in the last half cup for this amount of flour, and then we knead. And the reason why I have the flour on hand there, well, there was flour left over. It wasn't deliberate after measuring. Yeah, if you needed it, if it's too soft, then you would, you know, just dust flour all over so it doesn't get too hard upon you after. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. You just knead your dough with your hand, and you could measure a cup or 2 cups of flour if you like, with less water. So you know what I showed you is that you're going to be putting a little bit of water at a time. That's what I'm trying to show you, because what if you choose not to use this amount of flour or make this amount of fried dumpling, right? You're going to be putting less water. And yeah, so we're good here and feels good. So I'm gonna knead it, and then I'm gonna cover it up, guys. Cover it up so that it feels soft. You see, it's not too hard. It's sticking to my finger a bit, which is good. You're gonna have soft, fluffy fried dumplings. And I love fried dumpling, guys. And normally, as I said, you know, if I'm making fried dumpling, I would be adding, like, you can put whole wheat flour if you like to it, like half, you know, 1 cup white flour or all-purpose flour, and then your whole wheat flour, as well as I like spelt flour, so I add spelt flour whenever I'm making it. But I'm just showing you the plain fried dumpling here that we normally would make in Jamaica. And a lovely subscriber of mine, she asked me to make the fried dumpling for her to see, and I was excited and I was happy when she had asked me to, you know, make this video. So yeah, guys, your dumpling is needed, your dough is needed, and then I'm gonna be letting this sit. Like, guys, you can knead your dough and let it sit overnight, like outside, covered, not in the fridge. You don't want it to get cold, so when it's time for frying, you're gonna have a cold dough, right? So you would keep it outside, and you could let it sit overnight, because the softer the better. The softer your dough is, the better, and you get nice fluffy fried dumplings. I could fry it right away at this point if I was in a hurry, but I'm gonna let it sit. I'm gonna let it cover it and let it sit for about maybe half an hour or less, 10 minutes, you know. Yeah, so just let it sit for a while, and then I'll get frying. And that the pot is heating. I have the oil heating here, and this 1 liter bottle of oil that I use some from, I have this much, so this is like a little bit less than half a liter. So I'm gonna pour all of this. I think I'll be using all of this for that amount of fried dumpling. So maybe, like, you know, a cup or 2 oil. Yeah, half a liter or less is good. That amount of oil, like that amount of oil, guys, like maybe a cup or 2. You know, you just use your judgment, because you might be using a smaller pot. So if it's a smaller pot, then, you know, your oil should be like that much into the pot, depending on size pot you're using. So, you know, I can't really say this is how much oil you're going to be using, but you just make sure that depending on the size pot you are using, the oil is, you know, that much into, like, to cover, enough to cover the dumpling when you make them. So I would say like more than a cup for this amount. If it's less, you're going to be using less. Yeah, so make sure your oil is like a bit like that 1/4 inch the way up into your pot. And okay, so yeah, with clean hands, make sure my hands are clean. Let me wipe again. I just wipe, but just let me wipe again. Yeah, this is your dough, and you know, if you have a cutter, then you can cut it if you want to cut your dough with a knife. But basically, I'm just gonna be like cutting it, so this is an easy way to cut your dough by rolling them that long. Just put them in the middle of your, put it in the middle of your hand that way. So the dough has been sitting for like 20 minutes. Yeah. So you break them the sizes. There's no special size. If you don't want them too big, then, you know, you break them however you would rather have them. I don't like when they're too small or too big. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing, just dividing my flour here. As well as if you want to work on a board. But, you know, guys, the less utensils you use up, then the less you have to wash. And there's different ways to roll your dumpling, guys. You can roll it this way. In the palm of your hand, you just roll it into a ball. Okay? Roll it into a ball, and with your finger, your hand there, you just make a little well there. As well as there's so many ways people, you know, you could roll it long, but that's the shape. The round one is the shape of the fried dumpling. Right? So you can make it into whatever shape. You can make fun shapes if you want to. You can make it long and just go like that. Yeah. And as well as you could go like this, or make a knuckle and just roll, 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 roll. Put your finger like that and roll, 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 press and roll, press and roll, press and roll, press and roll. Yeah, with your finger here capping it so it doesn't fall. And there you have a nice round ball. Okay, so here, you know, nobody's gonna, you know, penalize you guys for not making the dumpling in a particular shape. Like, you just have fun with your dough. Yeah, have fun with your dough and roll it however you want to roll it. But the fried dumpling, it would be, it's this shape. You roll it, or as well as you can cap your finger like that and just roll a ball. Roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it. And it's nice and round. And the oil is heating. Let me turn up the flame, guys, because it's not so hot. You don't want your oil too hot, okay? And you can test your oil, because you don't want, when you're putting your dumpling into the pot, you don't want it to get brown too quickly. The longer it stays in that pot and cook, the inside is cooking. And that's the key, right? You don't want to be eating, when you bite into it, the dough is raw on the inside. The same as when you're frying meat or chicken, you know, you want the inside to cook. So that is why it's not good to immerse whatever you're frying into hot oil, because the outer part is going to cook and then the inside is raw. So you can use yeah, just test with one of the dumplings here. As I said, you can roll it flat, as well as you can, you know, just hold it with your palm and roll like that. Yeah. So then let's test the oil. The oil is not so hot. My stove is halfway. You could remove it, as well as you just turn up the flame, because if you put too much into it, if you put all the dumpling, the flour there, it's gonna be soggy, guys. So yeah, just turn up the flame, let the oil, you know, get hot. It should be frying a bit. Okay, so just wait for the oil to get hot. See the bubbles coming up there? So the oil is getting hot. But I don't want this oil to be too hot, so I'm going to turn the flame down, depending on your stove, right? I'm going to turn the flame down, because pretty soon it's just going to get hot, too hot. So guys, the oil is a bit too hot with one there. It's not hot, like it's not brown, which is good. So you make sure you have your, something to flip the dumplings and your fork on hand. There it is. I like the way it looks. But then while it's frying, guys, before it browns on one side, just flip it over. I find it's easier to prick. You see that color? That color is good. Okay. It's easier to prick into it because I like to prick into my dumpling to make sure it's soaking on the inside. And then you place your, make a ball again and place them in. And I turn the flame down because depending on your stove, you turn it down. It takes a while before the before it cools down. So or even shut it off. Then I can shut it off. I turn the burner off, and as soon as the oil looks like it's getting cool, then I'm gonna turn it back on. And be careful not to let your finger go into that oil, guys. There it is. Flip them, flip them. Yeah, before they get brown, so that, just for the oil to coat them a bit. And I like to put my fork into the, see, I turned the flame off. It is so soft because the oil is very hot. Okay, so the burner is not on. The burner is on off. And so guys, let me just check here on them. Just flip them until they have the color. That's too white, right? So you want to make it a bit browner. And yeah, I just turn it over so that when I turn it over, it's not only the color, just to I get it to soak evenly into the oil to cook, right? The inside, you're thinking about the inside. The outside, don't worry about the outside. If the inside is getting cooked, then it has to be done slowly and not on a high flame. The same when you're frying your chicken or meat, like you see that color? That color is looking good. Yeah, but then this side needs to get its color. So that's what I'm doing, and then I can remove it. See the way it pops open on the inside there, it's cooking on the inside. So it's very important that we think about the inside. So you're going to watch it. You're not going to go anywhere and leave it, okay? You watch it. You stand there and watch. If you leave, not for long. You watch it because by the time you turn around, guys, the dumplings are burnt. Yeah, and you just flip it so that it can cook evenly. It can get the color evenly. That color, yeah, you flip it because depending on the shape dumpling, one side of it might not be picking up the brown color. So that's why you have to like be flipping it to make sure it's cooking evenly. And the inside, as I said, we're focusing on the inside being cooked. And the flame look like the pot look like the oil look like it's too hot again, so I'm turning it down because you have to be adjusting the flame. Yeah, guys, so between 5 and 10 minutes you should be cooking your dumplings, frying your dumplings slowly, right? Not within 1-2 minutes. No, the oil is getting too cold. Let me turn it up, the burner. And then now that it has some it's a bit firm on the outside, you can put the fork in. Push the fork in, use this and pull it out. I use this to pull the fork out, and also to help flip the dumpling. Yep, the oil is getting cold, so I'm turning up back the flame, and I'm just showing you the key to frying the dumpling nicely. You can't have the flame on one setting. You have to be constantly turning it up and down, because what I'm focusing on is the inside being cooked. I don't want to bite into it and it's raw. Okay, you don't, the worrying about the outside is the least. Well, you have to worry about both part of it. You have to worry about the outside not getting brown, because if the outside is brown, then it's impossible to have it in the pot and not being burned without cooking the inside. So we have to focus on both the outside and the inside. In a part outside can't be getting brown too fast. So you flip, because if you don't flip, one side is just gonna get brown. So flip, yeah, flip, back, over. Flipping your dumplings to get it cooked on the inside. And with the fork, with it being pricked with the fork, the oil is going on the inside and it is being cooked, guys. Yeah, the oil looks too hot, so I'm going to turn the flame down. I'm just showing you the technique I use, the method I use, and it works. And it's enjoyable in the end. It's worth it to watch it. Watch it while cooking, and you can see, as I said, the oil, you notice the oil is too hot. You either turn your flame down or you're gonna flip. It's too hot, and it depends on your stove, as I said. Yep, so within 5 minutes these will be done. Prick, make sure they're being cooked on the inside. And I turn the flame down, and if it even takes to shut the burner off completely until the oil starts cools down a bit, then you turn it back on. And as I said, guys, it depends on your stove. Everybody's stove is different. So I'm gonna be removing these in a couple of minutes and then serve. A couple more minutes and good to go. Now guys, look at the dumplings. You cover them when done frying. I'm just showing you guys. Look at this one. This one may be a bit too brown, but then they're all okay. They're all excellent, the other colors. So as I said, it depends on you. You might want it to be a bit this brown, right? So I'm just showing you how soft they are. And let me just do a taste test. They're really soft, but they're hot at this point. So then they're hot, so you cover them and let the steam, you know, if you need to go prepare like a fry egg or something, then you do that in the meantime while they're covered until you make your tea or whatever and serve. Guys, the dumplings are more enjoyable when they're hot. While they're warm, okay, before they get cold and you have to reheat it. So you should try to eat these within half an hour, or while they're still warm. I mean, you could reheat it, right? But as I said, they are good, and it's not salty. The texture, firm, soft. Good, guys. Please give the video a thumbs up and see you in the next video.